Hello, and welcome to the podcast Carcast. I'm Adam Lundy,
I'm Ollie Cholich.
and as you can see, this isn't Greg. That's because we're having a
Definitely not
special
Greg.
edition of the podcast Carcast, because for those of you who've been paying attention at home, it's been 3 weeks since we've had a podcast Carcast, and if you're anything like me, it was also driving you guys insane. I can't starve you guys from my content that long. It's just not fair.
I was actually waiting for it for so long. I was just like, let's just do this already. I'll be in it if you want. I'll get rid of Greg. So
Yeah.
now that's why I'm here.
Yeah, he actually had to murder Greg to get his spot here.
Full disclosure, I didn't have to murder him, but I kind of made that a request.
It was like a chief justice type of thing. It was like it was like the Supreme Court. Like
It was like, if I'm going to do this, I also want to kill the last guy.
yeah, no one is allowed onto the podcast unless one of the other members dies.
I don't know if y'all have ever watched Departed, but don't leave loose ends. That's the whole point of the
Exactly. That's the whole point. Okay, so we're going to start out with something that is not that funny, but I feel like it's a great idea. And you guys love my great ideas. But this one's not a joke. This one's actually a great idea. I think that we should have credit cards with built-in thumbprint scanners.
Just so you can, like, thumbprint and then, like, pay immediately. Like, no...
Well,
sliding on it?
not like that. It's like, I think that it's incredibly, if you swipe your card, you have to sign. If you do a chip reader, you have to, like, put in your PIN.
Yeah.
What if you have a thumbprint scanner on the credit card so that, like, because when you hold the credit card and you
Right, so you
swipe
could
it,
just hold
so it knows
and-
that it's your thumb that's holding the credit card, and then it knows that it's you.
We're probably not that far off from that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
There's been this, like, slow progression of technology, like, Apple snuck up on us, and they were like, oh, we've got thumbprint scanner. You know that stuff that was, like, in movies in the 90s, they were, like, in 2803, they were going to have thumbprint scanners on everything. They just, like, slid that past us. We're probably going there.
So all we need to do is we need to go back in time to the 80s and put thumbprint scanning thumbprint scanning credit cards into a popular sci-fi show, and we would have it tomorrow.
I think it's the other way.
Okay.
I think if we have stuff that we're not expecting, they just come out with it. They come out with a thumbprint scanner on your phone. Anything that's in a sci-fi movie that's cool.
That's cool.
That we never get. They were like, look at these, like, hover bikes or whatever the hell they had. Look at all these cool things. There's androids running around. I don't think we're ever going to get them. Because I think we have the movie and we're like, nuh-uh. Everyone died in that movie. We're not having it. If you put thumbprint scanners in it, we'd be like, not those either. It's a slippery slope.
Exactly. It'd be just like, one day you're scanning your thumbprint, next day your whole family's getting murdered by iRobot, and that's
Was this worth the Terminators,
yeah,
Adam?
yeah, and that's actually not a figure of speech. It's literally the day after we have thumbprint scanners. Like, you wake up the next morning and you're just bathing in blood. Like, that's
Skynet's immediately like, all right, let's get this going now.
Yeah, they're just it's like the kill switch for all robots in the world is thumbprint scanners on credit cards that just makes them just like everything that has a Wi-Fi connection, your toaster, your refrigerator, it starts coming after you.
Hey, what the fuck? Your toaster's got Wi-Fi?
I mean, why wouldn't it? Okay, I need to be able to alerted via some kind of app when my toast is ready.
Hey, I think that's genius, but that's what I'm saying. It's just sneaking up on us. Just slowly, I'm like, wait, is my toaster talking to me right now? Like,
Yeah.
I was going to make breakfast anyway. I didn't need for it to tell me, but now I'm getting text alerts.
Exactly. It's like, it wakes me up. It's just like, did you forget your toast today? And it's like, toaster, you know me. You trust me.
I do think that's a good idea, though. I think if, like, we're heading to the place where people just don't have patience for things anymore. Like, this is very soon. This and putting your PIN in is going to be too much.
It's too much. It's way too much.
We're going to get to the thumbprint scanner. It's going to be thumbprint, and after that, it's just going to be like, just look in my eyes and scan the thing in my retina.
Exactly. It's just, you're just going to have to hold eye contact with your robot clerk for like 5 seconds, and he's like, you're good to go.
I'm not
like,
staring
thanks.
at you. I'm just trying to pay for my stuff.
Yeah. And then, but like, you get people like stealing credit card information. Like, as soon as everything's tied to your eye, you get fucking guys running around with spoons trying to pop people's eyes out.
It
and
is
then
going to
just
get
like
weirder. If
holding it up.
there aren't going to be as many criminals because it's going to be harder to steal, but the ones that do want to commit crime are going to have to get way more committed to it.
They're really gonna have to go ham.
Melon ballers and ice cream scoopers all across the streets.
Exactly, and that's just gonna be haunting.
You hear that little noise behind you, lose your shit.
Yeah, you should just start running. Like you should. It doesn't matter where you're going. It doesn't matter. You just.
And
run.
as you're running, remember it was him that started the fucking.
It was my fault. It was my fault, and you can crucify me for it. But we are gonna have one glorious day where shit's easy to pay for.
I bet there's one person you could trace back in the Terminator movies that started the whole thing. He's our guy.
Yeah. I am the worst. I am LandNet. that's my code name.
To be fair, if I had to bet on someone ending the world out of the people I know, you were like top 3.
I really appreciate that. That shows a level of like capability, desire, drive. I mean,
not
it's
necessarily
really,
in good ways, but
it's
definitely
not.
shows
It's
that.
not good ways, but it's all good qualities, just used for the wrong reasons. Exactly. Okay, so I know what you guys were thinking. As soon as we said our names, you said those guys have great stage names.
Yep.
And I think that the key to having a great stage name is you gotta have 2 syllables in both. Like that's
Two in
it.
both?
Like 2 in both. Like you know. Remind me what all the ch-ches I need to add in your last name. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's Cho-lich. There's accent marks that don't exist in the American language, and I do call it American because I'm an asshole. So it's Cho-lich, and there's little things over the C's.
Yeah. Because you need to start out high, then go low, and then high and then low. Because you can be like, ladies and gentlemen, Ollie Cholich! And see, it's perfect. It's perfect. If normally when Greg's here, it's, ladies and gentlemen, Greg! Starts off first, only one syllable. Greg! It doesn't work. Powers! It's like, no, because it's Greg Powers! You stay high for too long. It sounds like you're on helium.
To be fair, I've never met Greg, but that's such a shitty name to start with. Starting with Greg.
I mean, Greg. I mean, and you can't
weren't here,
even
you
go
can't fight
Gregory.
this.
Yeah, exactly. You can't go Gregory because then that's too many syllables. There's no bridge in between Greg
I think if
and
you're going to do a
Gregory.
great stage name, you're right. I think you need to match the syllables so there's some kind of flow to it.
Yeah.
Or it needs to be something crazy. Just come out like, I'm Candy Cinnamon. That one works. It's not the same syllables,
Okay.
but if she's coming out on stage.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just, in general, you just want an even number of syllables. Like, let's see we got Prince. Like, people who have just changed their name.
Does anyone pronounce it
Prince, obviously. You have Prince. It's 2 syllables. For this joke, it has to work. You got Lady Gaga.
That works.
You
That
got
does work.
Bruno Mars. See, he's just a fucking awful no. Speaking of which, have you heard he came out with an album?
Yeah, I heard.
24K Magic?
I don't listen to him that much. I know it's out, but I haven't looked
funky.
into it.
Look into it. It's very funky. It's very like kind of like Marvin Gaye. It's very it's very like 80s sounding. It's perfect. But it's like
I feel
not
like-
awful. Like it's not like about awful subject matter like all the songs in the 80s are.
Yeah, I mean, I could like that, but I do feel like if you're telling me that Bruno Mars' music has been kind of going that way for a while now.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see where he is like a decade from now. Is he just gonna like start doing
keep
shanty
going.
tunes from like the 1860s?
He's gonna
decade
crest
from now.
over. He's gonna be like, you know what this sounds like? Ben Haley in the comments. On the comments, like that's exactly. It's just like, and then eventually he's just gonna be doing Gregorian chants, and people are gonna be like, his new album is amazing.
It's still 12-year-old girls. They're just all in a cult now.
He just hums. He just does throat singing for an hour and a half. I love it.
It's genius. He's got this whole like crowd of groupies. Now he's gonna get them to start chanting. Now they're in a cult. He doesn't even need the stage name.
Yep. And
I
now
think you
all
were
he has
right
to
about
do
it.
is
I
he
think it
needs
would
some-
help.
He needs some Kool-Aid. That's all he needs.
Kool-Aid, a little bit of cyanide, and I don't know what his end game is,
Splash.
but he can get there.
Okay. So yeah, stage names. Great stage names. If you have a shitty name, whether it's a good stage name or not, and you got to change it to one, you don't have to Google what makes a good stage name. Just listen to us. Even number of syllables.
We're definitely experts on this.
We are the experts.
And I only say that because I don't think anyone's established themselves as experts on it, so I'm going to go ahead and say I can qualify as that.
Yeah, there's no competition in the stage name expert department, so we are both leading physicians.
Yeah, don't fuck up on the stage name, though. There was, Muhammad Ali went with Muhammad Ali, because it sounds intimidating. But he switched over from Cassius Clay, which already sounds like an ass kicker name.
Yeah.
But he got another cool name.
Yeah.
So if you've got a cool name, stick with it. Don't think you have to rename yourself something crazy.
Exactly.
If you're already cool. So.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, but, if you want to go, but if you already, like, if someone came out, Muhammad Ali, I'd be like, you need to take a step back. But if it's like, if you worked your way up there from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali, I'd be like, you earned that name. Yeah. And now you are qualified to have it.
You think it was between the 14th and 15th guy he killed that it was like, okay, yeah, you get to call yourself whatever you want.
It's like the punch, and then it's like, and it's like, level up, Muhammad Ali. It's just like teeth flying in one direction.
Who's going to tell him not to? Hey, guys, I'm going to change my name to Muhammad Ali. Okay, you're huge.
Yeah.
And you know how to kill people, so I'm not going to tell you anything.
It's the same logic that Mike Tyson's like, tattoo my face. And it's like, hey, Mike, that might not be the best. Tattoo my face! Okay, we're going to tattoo your face. Okay, I mean, you're a public figure, you're really famous. It's going to change your image a lot, but yeah, you're getting a tattoo. If the man wants a tattoo.
And now none of us mention it. He's been on talk shows like every year, and no one mentions it. They're like, if it was me in like Jimmy Fallon's place, I'd have to go like, dude, what the fuck is with the fucking thing? But Jimmy Fallon's smart. He knows not to get hit in the mouth by Mike Tyson. So
it's like the effective version of don't draw Muhammad's face. Yeah. Like, don't draw Muhammad's face, and then people are like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. And then people are just like, we're gonna kill you. But then, like, people still do it. It was like, don't talk about his tattoo. He's like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. He's like, I'm gonna kill you. And then he actually killed them.
And then they're like,
and then now everyone's like, yeah, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. Even the people who are trying to be edgy, still not touching that subject.
You could tell me it's been a while since he got the tattoo, and maybe people are just like used to it now. There's no way I would ever get used to it. If he was my friend, I'd bring it up every time.
He doesn't get used to it. He wakes up, looks in the mirror, and goes, oh, okay. Right. Yep, yeah. Forgot about that. I'm Mike Tyson, but except like whatever I said, but with a lot more lisp.
Way more lisp. Pigeons in the background flying away.
Slightly higher voice.
Yeah.
And a lot more muscly and black.
People a little bit more black.
A little bit blacker, and maybe slightly less muscly if we're being honest. Pow,
People say that Mike Tyson's gotten like nicer after he stopped boxing. Like he's a generally nice guy, like a pacifist now.
Yeah.
He might be, but I'm not taking that risk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're technically a pacifist if no one fights you. Like, normally a pacifist is someone who doesn't fight other people, but no one will agree to fight this man, thus making him a pacifist.
It's not the same thing if you're so terrifying no one's gonna fight you.
Exactly. That's like saying America's a nuclear pacifist, because it's just like we've never been in a nuclear war. Okay, we did it once, and then we're just like, no, we're going back to pacifist ways. Like, that's not how pacifism works. It's because no one's firing any nukes at us. That's why.
It's like having someone in a headlock and just being like, look how non-violent this unconscious man is.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Before this podcast, I was cleaning up my facial hair area.
Yes.
And I was wondering,
can tell you look real pretty.
Are a much, thank you very much. You are overall a hairy man.
Dude. Yeah.
You're a hairy man.
Hairy.
And so I was wondering.
You can't see, I'm not even wearing pants right now. It's just like from here down Chewbacca.
Yeah, he just dyes it different colors depending on what appearance he wants to get.
Sometimes I want to go hairy Avatar. That's my choice.
Exactly. And so I was wondering if, for my benefit and for the benefit of all the folks at home, if you had any shaving tips and tricks that you'd like to share, or like things that you do that you don't necessarily know if they were like things that other people might do, but you do when you're shaving.
I don't know if it's a thing about me shaving, because I actually only started shaving again recently. For like 2 years, I just used a beard trimmer and just kept it at like whatever this is, like the stubble.
Yeah.
Because when I shave, I look like a toddler. Like, the transition's incredible. You look like Adam when you're shaved, but if I shave this, people are like, hey, where's your mom? Like, if I'm in a store, like, are you lost? Do you need someone to help you? Yeah. So I had to keep leaving this.
Okay.
My advice, maybe leave it. If you're a guy that can get some stubble out there, go for it. I'm kind of lucky. Mine's kind of soft, so it doesn't bother girls.
Remarkably soft.
Very soft.
Can confirm.
Garnier Fruit Tea. We're not sponsored or anything, but I just like to mention that.
I mean, if you want to, sponsor.
Just saying, guys.
If any of you guys are watching.
I would say leave some of it. A lot of guys go clean shaven also to work in offices and stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the best pieces of advice I saw on GQ was, you got to stand out a little bit. If every guy's wearing a dark blue suit, white shirt, clean shaven, you all look the same. You're not going to, your boss isn't going to remember who you are, robot number 17 in cubicle B. So, maybe leave it a little. Also, don't look homeless.
Don't look homeless.
If you're going to grow it out, trim it a little bit around the neckline and cheeks and stuff.
Exactly.
Don't just let this thing go to the point where your friends see him and they're like, I swear he's got an apartment, but does he look a little bit homeless?
But I don't know how long it's been since he's been back to the apartment. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't need people following you home just to go like, oh yeah, no, he's walking into a place.
Yeah, you don't need to be walking to class and all of a sudden someone puts $5 in your pocket. It's don't spend it all in one place. You don't need that. I mean, that might be an added benefit, but
it's gonna wear on you after a while.
Exactly.
If everyone you meet thinks you're homeless, also super hard to pick up girls or guys or whoever if they think you're homeless.
Yeah.
Because I'm in college. The whole thing is maybe we go home together tonight, and if you think I'm homeless, we're not gonna fuck in a box. So
yeah, we're gonna fuck in a dumpster like a classy person.
Exactly. Pick
Okay.
Pick one behind a hospital or something, just so that maybe you might get a needle, some whatever in it. Do they give heroin in hospitals? Maybe steroids.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't ever asked.
Odds are it's gonna be something fun.
Okay. Yeah, I feel ya. I'm not in the boat of I can grow hair if I want to. It just ends up I grow the worst 14-year-old goatee.
Does it connect?
It doesn't. It goes here. I mean, people have seen me unshaved on the podcast before, but it goes here and then it goes here and then kind of spreads from there. And it's if I could do anything to giving me the semblance of having a chin, I would, but facial hair is not one of those.
I think if you can make it work, I think it could be a good looking facial hair thing just to have that little douchebag goatee, but you have to be a douchebag. You're going to have to commit to just pushing people over and just screaming out maybe racial slurs at people or something to make it work. Because it doesn't work with your personality. You're a nice guy. It's not going to work with the whole thing.
I can just scream at everyone. That's always an option.
Fine.
That's sometimes easier than
just
shaving.
talk way louder.
Exactly.
All the time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel and the worst part is that every time my facial hair starts to grow out, it gets to a point where I'm this doesn't look this bad. And then I see myself in a photo of me having that facial hair, and I'm oh God, why did I ever let myself do that? That is a monstrosity.
Thin line. That's actually a good piece of advice. It's a thin line. This doesn't look awful when I go out now, but by tomorrow I'll have enough hair here that people will be he might be homeless.
Exactly.
That immediately it'll be he's clearly never seen a razor before. And girls are yeah, you look like you don't take care of yourself. Even the rest of this looks put together, except for Chewbacca down here. Okay. There's that.
Okay. I guess my shaving tip is, there's something that I do that I don't feel like a lot of guys do, and it's because I would rather be lazy than maybe not considered as manly as I possibly could be. And that is something where I don't shave, beard trim, my armpits. Yeah. Because the longer your armpit hair is, the more it kind of locks in that sweat smell.
Yeah.
And it's I would rather just not have to worry about being smelly than, and occasionally be and people be why does that guy not have any fucking hair underneath his armpits? I would much rather have that dichotomy.
That's a super important one. Because in college in the dorms, it was every guy oh yeah, look at that, and a fan opens up of hair. It's just what I have up here under a dude's arm.
Exactly.
That's a weird guy pride thing where it's yeah, dude, I have hair. We're not in middle school anymore. Your 3 armpit hairs aren't gonna impress anyone.
Yeah.
And so trim it. It gets gross after a while. If I'm working out, that's gonna smell. And if I go home and take a shower and smell and it still reeks, you gotta trim it. You gotta do something about that.
Exactly. And it's not I don't think that anyone, I personally haven't. I actually don't want to speak for everyone, but I personally haven't ever, when maybe I started doing this a year and a half, 2 years ago, I've never been man, My armpits are freezing. Like, that has never happened. That's happened
it's not an
exactly
issue.
0 times.
Also, if anyone mentions that you have trimmed armpits, they have way too much free time on their hands.
Yeah.
I have never seen a dude raise his arms and then looked over to check. I don't have that kind of time in my day. I don't care.
Exactly.
So don't worry about it. Start trimming stuff. As far as I can tell you this because I read a lot of GQ because I also have a lot of free time. And like one of the tips is like women hate like just bushy body hair. It's fine to like be hairy, but when this starts like crawling out and like the collar of your shirt's starting to get covered in hair coming out of your chest, like you got to take care of it.
You got to do something.
Yeah, you're an adult. You can make those decisions. You could take a razor to this, like go dolphin neck down. Like who's gonna tell you not to?
What I like to do is I like to let it grow out all the way, and then I shave it off and sell it to a wig making company for cancer victims. Because so many people, they suffer from chemotherapy and they get a wig for their head, but they need something on their chest to give them the semblance. They like strap it in like a harness, and then it looks like they have chest hair.
Then there's a little spot in Adam's heart hoping that one of those people that made fun of him for shaved armpits will get one of his armpit hair wigs to wear after the chemo.
After the chemo.
Because
I don't want those bullies to die. I just want them to suffer. Okay? I just want them to suffer through
You just want them to have your pit hair on their chest.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Is completely normal and understandable.
Yeah.
It's a little petty, but you gotta be sometimes.
Now that I'm thinking about it, armpit hair seems incredibly weird. Because, like...
You don't really need the extra warmth or anything.
You don't need the extra warmth right there. Like, leg hair, I've definitely been, like, wearing shorts, and it's gotten colder, and I've been, like, I can feel the leg hair keeping me warm.
Yeah.
If I forget to shave, because I only, like, grow hair in this part will be warmer than the rest of my face.
Yeah, and I regret shaving it, and then the next day it's, like, snowing out.
Yeah,
freezing.
And I've been bald in the winter before.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And... people take for granted how well your hair insulates your head. Like, people would think that'd be like, oh, I'm really cold all the time. And be like, no, you haven't felt cold until you felt cold without hair. It is insane.
I actually have that problem anyway because I refuse to wear hats because it makes my hair weird. Like, I get the worst case of helmet hair. Yeah. So I've been that, but I've never had it to that degree. I have to imagine that's uncomfortable as shit.
Mm-hmm. I have a solution for you, Ollie, and for anyone at home who has had hair. So at the place that we've established that I've worked before, they gave us beanies instead of hats. And beanies will fuck up your hair 12 ways to Sunday if you let it. So, I have hair that goes this way. Ollie has hair that goes this way. I'm not going to make him do this because this is something that takes a little bit of practice. But when I put on my beanie, I do it like this. And it keeps all of the hair pointed in one direction. So even though it kind of pushes down the hair, all I have to do is take it out. And then I just kind of like run my fingers through it. I take a comb. I like comb it over.
All right. Beanies on.
Beanies on.
And off. That stayed all right.
Stayed all right.
I mean,
also,
hair looks decent.
If you want to put it on, if you have the easily manageable haircuts that both of we have where your hair's going one way, and you throw it on like that, it'll fuck you up. But what you can do is you just kind of take your hand underneath, just kind of slide it across. Boom!
If you're not as neurotic as the both of us about your
Boom!
hair, it's not as big an issue.
Boom! Okay.
But for us, it is a problem.
Yeah, for us, because it's like, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you might be walking down the street and a girl will be like, "I'll fuck you, but let me see your hair first," and you just have to be like, "Look at that."
Also, there's something weird about, if any of you have felt like you're wearing like a beanie, and like after a while it makes your hair hurt. Like it kind of feels like it's tugging on your hair.
Yeah.
Like I know women will have this feeling, and me because I used to have hair down to like here. Like the ponytail thing where you have your hair in a ponytail long enough and it eventually starts to hurt.
Yeah.
And so it's like if you do the side thing too, it'll stop your hair from hurting after being under the beanie for however long. Yeah. Just I don't know how it works. I'm not a scientist.
Important one. If you're a bitch like me and Adam and your hair hurts sometimes, it's an important thing to keep in mind.
Okay. Completely unfounded. None of this next discussion will be founded in science, probably. But which do you think came first? The lawnmower or the electric razor? Because
Do
I
you
feel
have
like
a definitive answer?
because no, I don't know, because I feel like one clearly inspired the other. Like one person saw someone with a lawnmower and went like, huh, or someone saw someone with an electric razor and just went, huh, and they're like using a scythe on their grass or whatever, and they're just like,
Also on
there
their face.
has to be a better way.
They went straight from harvesting wheat just to cutting off most of their face with a scythe, and were like, there's got to be a better way.
I mean, when were like tractors invented? Did the car come before like the industrial stuff for like tractors and stuff?
I think they had
Like the Model A.
I think it was cars before tractors.
Okay.
Or like same time, but I think the first car is like a definitive historical moment.
So that was probably around like the 20s or something. Like
Something
I
like
don't
that?
know, like the 1900s
Well,
to like the 10s,
1890s,
the
I think they had like steam powered
20s. Okay.
cars,
But like by the time that we
diesel
got
and
like
gas powered.
Ford like
Yeah.
putting out all those Model A's and T's and
Right,
whatnot.
we're into like the 20s.
Okay. And I feel like, there was that big thing about like Gillette sent over razors to the troops during World War II, I believe it was.
So that's our time frame then.
So that would mean that I bet that we came up with like riding lawnmowers, or like the granddaddy of riding lawnmowers, like actual tractors and people who actually used it.
So you're telling me people looked at a guy riding a mower over grass and were like, that should be on my face. I absolutely need that technology closer to my face.
I feel like it probably went through a couple iterations, because on like electric razors there's like the whirling blades of death, and then like a nice like coating with holes so that the the hair will slip through, but not your flesh, not
Yeah.
your face.
Yeah.
But for tractors and lawnmowers, if you turn those bad boys upside down, that's just a death machine. Like that's all that is.
But you have to think, like with everything else, those iterations were tested, and they were just like, what if we just have the death machine next to your face? And someone was like, okay, well, I don't have a right side of my face anymore, so let's take the next step. And they were like, what if we just add a little guard to it? And they were like, okay, just lost most of my chin bone, so getting there.
Yeah.
And it was like 20 years of guys just getting like decapitated before we got to those commercials where it's like, and then like, dude looks perfect in the
It was
end.
like, how if you try and shave yourself with one of those straight razors, like, one slip up and you just, like, carve out a piece of your face?
Oh.
What if we made those go, like, 50 miles an hour faster? Like, what if we, like, put that on a circular on, like, a fan and crank that baby up to, like, 200 RPMs? Like, what if we do that?
I would have never been able to invent it, because I was using one of those like regular Gillette like 5-slot razors, and I bumped my elbow on something and ran it this way instead of down. So I just had like 5, like it wasn't that painful, but it was just 5 slice marks across my face. I wouldn't have been brave enough to be like, all right, let's get this thing spinning now. Let's get like 1,000 RPM in this.
Yeah. Just like, what if we just took away like all of the...
All right, that was pretty horrific, but what if we can turn it, like, what if we can weaponize that?
Yeah, what
and
if
then
we
use
can
it on my
weaponize
face?
it? Yeah, and that's how the sawmill was born. Okay. So, Ollie, you live in Boulder.
Yes, I do.
There have been a lot of stuff in the past, like, year, 2 years, 3 years, especially with Prop 3000 or whatever it was.
It was
So,
it affects high people, but high people wouldn't be able to name it. So
what is the weed scene in Boulder like?
Expansive. I don't think through all the parties and stuff I've gone to in Boulder or just hanging out with people that there's been anyone there that's been entirely opposed to smoking. Some people don't, but if you bring it up, there's always like 50-60% of the room at least like, yeah, we'll go smoke, or they're like, yeah, we have smoked, or sorry, or like I own a bong or something.
Okay.
So it's like everyone, and like the age range is super diverse.
Okay. So it's just kind of more normalized up there.
It's kind of gotten normalized in a weird way, because you don't expect it. Like if people smoke cigars or cigarettes, like people would just go outside and smoke one. But that's like that with weed in Boulder, which going from like high school to that and just experiencing that type of city, because Boulder's kind of a weird place, because it is just hippies up there. Not to shit on Boulder, we're a very nice place, but hippies everywhere.
Okay. I believe you wanted to throw out some spoilers.
Oh, yeah, spoilers.
Okay, so this is spoilers for
Hacksaw Ridge, which I saw yesterday with a friend of mine. And good movie. Good movie overall. Great war movie.
Great war movie.
Spoiler.
Hacksaw Ridge. This is the last thing we're going to be talking about today. So if you are going out to see this soon and you don't want the spoilers,
I'm definitely going to spoil all the good parts.
Turn this off now. Have a good day. See you next week. Okay, Hacksaw Ridge.
All right. So now that the spoiler alert's out of the way. Good movie. It starts out, so this, you guys know like the general story. He's a pacifist. It's explained in the beginning of the movie why, but essentially he won't fight. So through basic and stuff, he goes through all this shit, and they won't let him, fight in the war or whatever. Eventually he gets there though. So they have to go onto this ridge, which presented in the movie. I don't read history textbooks, so I don't know how this looked in real life.
Okay.
But it's a cliff, just like 40, 50 foot tall cliff. Okay. They climb up with ropes. They get to the top, and then it's just them and like the Japanese. Okay. And there's all this fighting happening. People are just getting mowed down. It's horrific. Like, it's the first scene of Saving Private Ryan for like an hour.
Oh lordy.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And he's like, this guy, we don't deserve him as humanity. I don't know how we got this guy on our team. He saved like 70 some people, dragging them out of the battlefield in the middle of the night through artillery fire down that cliff and to safety.
Well, shit.
It's like 75 people. I think I would start crying after the first one. I'd be like, I don't have it. My back hurts.
Yeah.
I'd be done. 75 people. And by the end of the movie, there's this really weird scene right at the very end of the movie. This is where the spoiler alert comes in. Right at the very end of the movie, it cuts to black and it says directed by Mel Gibson, which changed the whole thing up for me. Because I started thinking back. I was like, okay, there was a funny scene in the beginning where they made fun of a guy for like looking Native American or First Peoples. I don't know what the correct term. White guy. I don't know what I'm doing. But they make fun of him for it, and I'm thinking back, like, was that supposed to be funny, or was that, like, his moment of, like, yeah, that's fucking right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. And this is my views showing through.
I get that the Japanese were the bad guys in that movie, but at the end of it, I was like, there's, like, a lot of weirdly, almost, like, jerking himself off. Look at how well we're killing the Japanese at the end. And then I see it's directed by Mel Gibson. I'm like, how purposeful was all this? But the movie is also super Christian. A big focus of it is his belief in God, which
Wait, are you telling me that the guy who did Passion of the Christ made a Christian movie?
It made a lot more sense by the end of it.
Okay.
So when I saw that, like, it all clicked together. But here's the actual spoiler alert. I'm going to spoil the very last scene of the movie for you, which, if you're not going to see it, if you don't want to watch an hour of people getting their legs blown off, just listen to this part because it's amazing. So there's a natural point where this movie should have ended.
Okay.
Battle's over. He saves 75 guys. There's some nice dialogue. And Mel Gibson's like, hang on here. Hang on. Next day, they go back up the ridge to fight again. And this is like 15 minutes of this. And eventually, the medic, the guy, Dawson? His last name's Doss. I don't remember what his first name was. I already forgot.
I don't know.
But him and a bunch of other people in the company are around a foxhole because the Japanese had tunnels up there.
Yeah. So
Japanese soldiers coming up out of it pretending to surrender, but then they all pull out grenades and throw them at the group of American soldiers circling them. And I think like, oh, all right, this is a weird scene in the movie. Mel Gibson's like, hang on. Doss smacks a grenade back that's coming at him. Like shoulder height, like Roger Federer came in as like... to
like
take
not
over
in
the
my
character.
house.
Yeah, he was like stunt doubling. You're like, bam, at a grunt and everything, just right out of there. I was like, okay, all right, that's pretty amazing, totally worth waiting. Mel Gibson's like, whoa.
Doesn't end there.
This guy sees another grenade on the ground, kicks it, bends it like Beckham back at these soldiers coming up out of the hole. It blows up. He does a backflip, and then there's like 5 more minutes of footage after that I didn't pay attention to because I was too busy having my mind blown by that scene. I was like, okay, this guy saved 75 people. I don't need you to tell me he's more badass. And then he just goes in there like a champion, fearless, just smacking grenades back at people. It was amazing.
He was like the Serena Williams of warfare.
Oh, yes. Absolutely what I would call him. Okay. That dominant and also that great of a swing.
They should have that on the poster. They should have
That
they should have Hacksaw Ridge, the Serena Williams of
if
war.
you had told me that was the last scene, I would have gone to see that movie 3 more times and then again yesterday and probably tonight.
Okay.
It completely worth it. But also overall, great. I know I shit on Mel Gibson there, but I have to make fun of him.
Yeah.
But great movie.
He is the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And you just gotta pick and take a bite out of that.
If you're gonna have recorded calls screaming at your wife, I'm gonna mention it. It's like the face tattoo, but Mel Gibson isn't here to kill me. So.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, 35 minutes exactly according to my thing.
Ooh, good timing.
This has been a special guest edition of the podcast Carcast. Once again, I'm Adam Lundy.
I'm Ollie Cholich.
And you guys have a good rest of the week. Don't eat too